This past Sunday, the Brad Allen Band, myself included, competed in the IBC Road to Memphis competition at Washington, Missouri that the Blues Society put on. And as you could probably tell from the title of the video, we didn't win. And I want to talk a little bit about why that's okay, and how if you find yourself in a similar situation, you can use it as kind of an opportunity for growth, and just kind of give you an idea of what it was that we did, and maybe some of the things I've noticed and that have come to light to me from that competition. So the IBC is the International Blues Competition. It's held in Memphis every year. There's a lot of fantastic musicians that go down there, and they all compete for a chance to win. There's a lot of notoriety and clout that comes from winning it. So there's different places across the country, different blues societies that'll hold competitions to help fund people to go down there, because it can be expensive to go and spend 4 or 5 days down in Memphis for a competition, especially if you're an artist. So they raise a bunch of money and they have a competition for it. And this year was quite a lot of fun. There was a lot of people that showed up. It was pretty great to see a lot of people come out to a blues competition. Let you know there's still a lot of interest in the genre. But anyway, so some of the rules: it was a 25-minute max set. I think 22 minutes was the shortest you were allowed. You're only allowed to bring on instruments. Drum kit was provided. You were allowed to do like kick pedal and snare, maybe even cymbals. And you're allowed a small pedal board, but that's all the equipment you're allowed to bring in. You're not allowed to plug in and then start noodling around on your instrument to find the sweet spot on whatever amp you're using. You pretty much just have to set it for where you think it's going to be okay and hope for the best. The sound check was just, all right, pluck a string, make sure it's on. Talking to the mic, just make sure I have signal, is that kind of stuff. Not too far off of the normal high pressure festival setup, like with really quick turnovers. And everything you do is part of the judging. Like, you have 7.5 minutes to set up. If you take longer than that, you're getting docked points. If you start noodling around and they start your time and then you go long, that's on you. They had 3 judges that kept score on everything. Originality was a real big part of it. So we wrote some original songs. We already had one. We wrote 4 others, 3 of which we used. The other one wasn't quite finished to the point of bringing it out in front of other people. And if nothing else, it was really cool getting new songs written for this competition, because we still have those songs. They don't go away just because the competition's over. So anyway, so we went up to compete. There was a guitar amp that Brad would have preferred to use, but they had trouble with it. So we were the last act that played, so he was the only one that didn't get a chance to play through that particular amp. But I mean, that's part of life. Sometimes the stuff you want to use, you don't have access to. The bass amp was, well, I don't know what the definition of bass amp is technically, but I think it falls into that category. It was a Ampeg SVT3 Pro head on top of a 215 subwoofer cabinet, I think is what he said it was. It sounded like a subwoofer with a bass head on top of it. Not my particular flavor of tea, but to each their own. It did the thing. I was able to hear myself play, and that's all you can ask for. The guy who ran sound supplied the equipment, and he wanted to supply everything because he doesn't want any bias. They don't want me bringing in an SVT because, if I usually play through an SVT, then I'm going to have an advantage because I recognize the amp, I guess, as part of the logic they have behind it, which is fine. Like I said, it was for monitoring only. I could hear myself play enough that I could hear all the mistakes I made and hear where I was in the songs. So it did the thing. It did the thing for sure. And I'm sure that these guys that are going down to Memphis are going to run into amps far worse than this was. I've played through worse. But anyway, enough about the gear. We set up on stage in our amount of time, did the real quick little thumps to make sure that everything was on, lit into our song, and it was chaos on stage. It always is. Anytime you set up on a bunch of other people's stuff, like if you go to an open jam, or if you're using a whole lot of backline at a festival where you don't have much time to dial anything in, it can be real tough to hear where everything is, and you really have to fall into the moment and be confident in your skills and ability to play, and hope that you've rehearsed the songs enough that you're going to be where you're supposed to be in the song. We started it off, ran through the songs, everything went pretty well from being on stage standpoint. I wasn't entirely happy with my performance, but I wasn't totally dissatisfied either. Kind of like you have good days and bad days, and that was just kind of an average day. I was really hoping to have a spectacular day, but sometimes you don't get those. And that's all right. But the group that won, the Joe Metzger band, he was fantastic. I could tell as soon as he started playing, I was like, man, if these guys are into more traditional blues, this guy's got it, because he has that real traditional blues sound. Fantastic player, very personable. He didn't play as many songs as most of the other bands did. He was more chatty in between, and I think that can really give off an air of professionalism when you're able to engage with the crowd so much. Whereas we focused on just trying to put forward a bunch of music and relying more on that. I think Joe was comfortable enough with his music that he was going the extra mile to really chat up the crowd and get people involved. It was a relationship he was creating between himself and the audience, which I took note of, and I'm glad I got to see that, because now I can work on that moving forward. Because stage presence is always one of the hardest things to work on, because it's tough to try to keep everything straight in your mind. In my case, shooting video, running sound, playing bass, singing, and trying to be engaging on stage. It's a lot to do all at one time. So it was good to see him do that. Every time you see somebody, a musician, you can learn something from it. And I learned quite a bit about engaging the crowd while watching him. The other bands were fantastic too. I was really delighted that the groups that came in really put up fantastic shows. It was kind of nice being last because we got to see everybody beforehand. So I was all psyched up from listening to good blues music all day. You know, it's like when you go to a festival and you get to play and the band before you just kills it, just gets the energy up. Everybody's into it. You know, you got people dancing and stuff. It's quite a lot of fun. So we went up, did our thing. They did the scoring, and then we found out that we weren't the ones that won, and it was quite all right. I went in kind of expecting that we weren't. We're still a pretty fairly new group. Our songs aren't super old. We haven't had a ton of time to work on and polish them. But we figured we really got nothing to lose by doing it, so we might as well go ahead and try. And, you know, if something comes out of it, something comes out of it. And I think a lot of people can go into competitions and things of this nature and maybe put a little too much stock into it. When you go in and do something like this, a competition, a battle of the bands, or, you know, a competition for, I know Guitar Center puts on like guitar competitions and stuff like that every so often. Anytime you go into a competition, there's a chance that you're going to lose, and it's usually greater than the chance you're going to win. And the real question is, what do you have to gain from it, and what does it change if you lose? So in our case, we did lose, but immediately we had more followers on our Facebook page from people that were there that hadn't seen us before. We got to network with other musicians. We got to get in front of a crowd of people we don't normally get in front of, because it being in Washington, we don't play out that way a whole lot. So now there's a few people out there that if we go to play somewhere might come out to see us in Washington. We might have built a little bit of a fan group out there that can come out and enjoy our music out at the awesome, frankly, venues that are out in Washington. So there's nothing lost other than we didn't get the opportunity to go to Memphis, but if we hadn't entered, we'd be in the same spot. So nothing's changed other than positives. You know, we got to see some really cool acts. We got to learn what the IBC is about, so if we go in the future, we'll be a little more comfortable with the rule base. And we got to play in front of people that seem to enjoy our music, and hopefully will continue keeping in contact with us and coming out to see us. So those are all net positive things. I like to do one quote. It's from my buddy Aaron. Aaron Apter has a YouTube channel on here as well. He talks about being a professional drummer down in Nashville. I talk about him every so often on my videos because I chat with him a lot, because he kind of brought me into the recording yourself and doing YouTube. And he sent me a message because I was going back and forth with him talking about, you know, the competition and all that. And he said, I'm going to read it directly. You can put your fate in the hands of others, or you can invest in yourself and try to make it on your own, using your own terms and your own gumption. I think that's really important, that you can keep hedging your bet that you're going to go do something like an IBC competition or a battle of the bands, and that's going to lead to your big breaking point. But you have to realize your favorite artist probably didn't get their start from something like that. Joe Bonamassa didn't win the IBC. Like, I go through the history of IBC winners, and there's a lot of them I don't know. Most of my favorite artists didn't even compete in the IBC. Now, that's not, putting down the IBC at all. It's still a fantastic opportunity, and they do a lot of great things for a lot of great artists. What I'm saying is, it's not a requirement to do it. It might be a quick little shortcut. If you're playing Chutes and Ladders, it might be a ladder that takes you further up along the process. But you're not losing anything by not winning it, if that makes sense. And even if you do win it, it's just a tool. You're still going to have to put all the effort forward on marketing yourself, on writing good songs, on practicing, just the stage presence, etc. All those things you're still going to have to put in. It's just somebody recognized that you've been putting the work in and kind of gave you a bump up a little further along on the game board. So I haven't lost anything. I've gained, like I said, net positives. So I'm going to use this as a reminder to myself to keep investing in myself, investing my time appropriately. I'm trying to document more stuff, trying to do more videos, because I really enjoy it. Even though there's not a lot of people that watch the videos, that's fine. If there's one person out there that watches it and gleans some kind of information from it that ends up in a positive way, then I feel like I've done something appreciable. And if not, then, my mom got to watch me talk on camera for a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that either. So anyway, if you're out there yourself and you're doing some kind of competition, don't take it to heart if you don't win. Do your best to win, like I say on here, strive for excellence. But if you don't, just use it as a learning opportunity to grow and move forward. So that's all I have for today. Just a quick little chat about the IBC competition. I've got some clips of the competition that I'll put up on here as well, because I've recorded the entire thing, even though not in the usual standard quality that I do, because I wanted to keep it small file sizes. But so there'll be something either scattered throughout this video or at the end of it for you to watch. So enjoy that, and like I said earlier, strive for excellence.
This next one, Mr. Mojo Murphy penned this next song. We work on it together as a band and play for you all here today, so hope you enjoy. All that's on the world. scratch. All the chicken cooking on the home room. I'm just like a mama. They're all the girls. But sometimes, just a girl. All she wants. Taking care of a man, all the tries he might. Oh, you know you won't understand the little things that you do, all that no one seems to see. Oh, you don't know, dear. This next song is an original tune we all wrote together here called Party Time. Seems like a good time for a party. Don't mind if you came alone, there's plenty of people here. Joshua Gross. Thank y'all so much.
Grant Allen.